Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today a little something different. So first off, before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of the video here today, I wanted to quickly shout something out real quick. I'll leave a link in the description below. But this guy right here is a developer who made a 7 Deadly Sins combat class calculator, as you can see in his Twitter banner here. Now, so basically what it does, it's an app you can get on Google Play, where he has every single character in here listed with all their different characteristics and all their different stats and everything all mixed in. He's put everything in there. You can calculate, how much CC characters would have, how much CC your teams would have, all kinds of different things depending on how you have everything set up in the game, all the different variations, all the different variables. And he actually just updated the look of it, and my god, look at this. Look how amazing this looks. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description to his Twitter. Go check that out. Amazing job here. I just wanted to shout this out real quick because I thought it was amazing. Now, onto the meat and potatoes. So, a bunch of drama kind of happened recently this past week. Regarding, Grand Cross versus Epic 7 versus Dokkan, all the different gachas, that kind of thing. It started kind of, I think what started this was when Nagato posted that Epic 7 was the worst gacha that he's ever played, which is kind of crazy because Epic 7 is one of my favorites. If I were to put my favorite gachas on a tier list, Epic 7 would be number 2. Grand Cross is only number 1 because of how long I've been playing it and the consistency of how I play it. But Epic 7's easily number 2. It's very close. They're both so good in different ways. But Volume made a thing here where he was comparing Grand Cross versus Epic 7. Now, his list of pros and cons for each game are kind of small. He left a bunch of stuff out, but I think he just kind of rushed it out, to be honest. I don't know, I could be wrong, but the different things that he listed are not necessarily wrong. But of course, the entire community went up in flames because he had a few pros for Grand Cross and this massive list of cons, and then for Epic 7 it was the opposite. So people were kind of throwing a fit here. I did want to go through some of the comments on this post and kind of give my take on this whole thing. And now, okay, before I get into this, you're probably going to see some of my comments on here. And over this whole little drama session that was going on for 2 days straight, I was being a little toxic, and I was being quite toxic on a bunch of different posts that other people were making, just because, I can. It's Twitter. Twitter's toxic. That's how it is. And sometimes, I gotta get it out. Gotta get the toxicity out. I'm always such a nice, kind, generous person. And I mean, honestly, that's how I am in real life. But, every now and then, you like to be toxic. Say you're, playing a PvP match or something. You like to get that toxicity out there. So let's just go through real quick. Now, my point that I wanted to say was Epic 7 has more waifus, which, kind of facts. Grand Cross has, 5 good waifus? And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're top tier, Margaret, Easton, Brunhilde. There's a lot of really good waifus in the game, but it's limited compared to Epic 7. Epic 7 has so many great, amazing waifus that are all top tier. Okay, so here's one right here. Oh, we're gonna skip the skill issue thing because it's a gacha game, and gacha games don't really skill isn't the top priority in the game. I mean, skill does, can make a difference, but it's not the thing. Now, this is a really good point here. 7 Deadly Sins is a much new player-friendly game. It literally gives you level 80 awakened banners, and every festival celebration is the perfect time because of the amount of mats you get. Epic 7 doesn't even come close to how can't speak right now. How player-friendly 7 Deadly Sins is. So I heavily disagree with this, and I have been playing Grand Cross since it released on global day 1. I've been playing basically every single day. And, I've spent maybe a little bit of money on the game here and there, but, I mostly started off 100% free to play, and I grinded this game every single day. Back in the day, sure, you could make an argument that Grand Cross was one of the most, if not the most, free-to-play friendly game out there, and it's still relatively free-to-play compared to most gachas out there. But due to the constellation system, all the different resources you require to get units up and how quickly the meta shifts, that free-to-play window keeps shrinking every single day. Now, granted, it like I said, it's still free-to-play friendly compared to a lot of gachas out there, but it's definitely taken a huge hit in that regard, in my opinion. To keep up in PvP, it's kind of insane, unless you're being smart about every little detail, every little decision you make. And if you do that, are you really having fun with this game? Because overall, it's a gacha game, and you're supposed to be having fun, collect your favorite units, all that kind of stuff. But in order to heavy meta compete, and I'm still going to make that video where I discuss, go in depth into detail about how to be meta in this game. You can't just collect everything you want, have fun, and, play the game properly. You have to, heavy, micromanage every little detail of what you're doing in the game if you're not spending. Epic 7, on the other hand, it's super heavy grindy game, I know, but you don't need to spend money to actually progress and do stuff in the game. You don't require dupes on your characters. They have pretty great banners, I'm not gonna lie. If you take into account all the gems that Grand Cross provides versus the Sky Stones, other summoning materials within Epic 7, and then you take pity amount, what goes onto a banner. Grand Cross, they do put more SSRs on their banners, but the amount of SSRs in Grand Cross that are absolute shit is insane. It's almost like they're not even the highest rarity in the game. It's crazy, and Netmarble just throws all of those on their banners, so you're really only pulling from maybe 1 or 2 characters, and then if they're not featured, it's not worth summoning on the banner anyways, because there's a good chance you just won't summon them. In Grand Cross, if you were playing, there are no rerun banners. We've gotten a couple collab reruns, but that's just because the player base kept saying, hey, we need reruns of these collabs. But Netmarble doesn't do rerun banners. If you don't pull them on their banner, there's a good chance you might never get them ever again. Now, festivals are a little different because festivals do rerun on banners and you can pick them at the pities, but at celebrations and they're kind of spread out a really awkward way. Netmarble also likes to kind of put their celebrations close together, so that, and then also throw out a ton of bait and everything. It's a whole mess. That's a whole topic for another video, I guess. Not going to go too much into that because then it'll just be me ranting about it for an hour. But as far as pity goes, 600 for a normal banner has become the norm, and that's kind of it's not the worst thing ever, but it does kind of suck if you're free to play. 900 for a festival banner is also kind of pushing it. I realize it's a celebration and festivals are supposed to be broken units, but listen, the issue with how the banner system has been working lately is in order to get those really big busted units, you're not pulling for anything else as a free-to-play. You're saving for a festival banner, and that's it. And you don't even get to summon on every single festival. So, building teams, you have to, try to predict the meta in a way, because by the time you, as a free-to-play, by the time you get your team where you need to be to compete with, whales, the meta's already shifted, and now you gotta, switch your teams out and stuff. And I'll make a whole guide video about how you should, free-to-play meta chase. Don't worry, that video's coming. It'll happen. Epic 7, on the other hand, yeah, sometimes it could feel like it's a little kind of expensive summoning on a banner, but you pull a unit once and you're chilling. And banners rerun, characters rerun. You can pity units. And they also do this cool thing where you get to select units every now and then, units that you want, good units. And Epic 7 also goes through and balances all of their units. Volume made a really good point with this, because he made a video going over things, and Nagito even made a video talking about it. But yeah, they every now and then, and it's not stretched, they do it pretty consistently. Epic 7 will balance units so that you know, let's say you pull for a unit and you put a lot of work into it and you really like the unit, they don't just fall off within a week or a month or however long, because, you know, Grand Cross meta shifts like crazy. So, you know, units are usable. Like, every unit in Epic 7 is usable, basically. I've never really heard any Epic 7 players say, like, oh, this unit is just dog shit. It's been dog shit for forever. It was maybe good back at this point in the game, but, you know, it's nobody ever uses this unit anymore. I don't really hear much of that. Now, with Grand Cross, that's like 90% of your box is unusable, because they just, Netmarble's power creep is insane, and they don't balance their game at all. They release the next broken thing that's just, you know, a little bit stronger than the previous thing, and they just keep that going so that people are forced to summon for that to, you know, remain in the meta. And the units that you worked so hard for at the beginning to build up, to summon for, all the different grinding you put into it, wasted. All of that potential wasted. What is that going for? Box CC? You're never going to touch that unit again. I don't touch 80% of my box. I just don't, and I hate it, because there's a lot of units in there that I really love the character designs, I love the animations, I love the builds on it, and it's just garbage. And then on the other hand, with Grand Cross, they release units that are bad and then never are ever good. Right now, we have the Halloween update going, and there's a very specific unit on that banner that just infuriates me every time I think about it. Halloween Giant Deanne came out, and I really liked the look of her kit. Like, I thought her kit was really cool. She had a pretty good balance of everything, you know, a little bit of utility, a little bit of DPS, or what it appeared to be. And her passive looked really interesting, really cool. Something that might be fun to work around. But no. This unit does basically no damage, and the other half of her skills require RNG, because you need a level 2 to get the attack seal off. And her passive just doesn't really do much for you. Like, it's not a big enough thing to change the tide of the game that you're playing. She's useless, and she released that way. When she was first dropped on the game, she did not fit anywhere in the meta. She was already outdated from the second she was released, and it's ridiculous. And this is a lot of units. It's not like this only happens once in a blue moon. Netmarble does this all the time. It's crazy. But yeah, as far as free-to-play friendly goes, that's kind of how things have been going. If you disagree with me on any of these points, by the way, go ahead and comment them, or even go on Twitter, tag me in them, go comment on any post, go reply to me, be toxic, I don't care. Alright, anyways, moving on. Are you implying... Okay, so Davo misread something. It got resolved in the thing. No offense, but every gacha has terrible skippable banners. Yes, it's a gacha game. I don't know why we all play this, but we do. Let's see here. Bias towards Epic 7. I mean, so he did mention this a little bit. I kind of understand the point where it was... This is one of those things where he had a like huge list of cons for Grand Cross and a huge list of pros for Epic 7, and it wasn't, you know, the other way around. But again, Volume wasn't wrong with any of the points he said, and Amazing also made another post in response to Volumes, and everything Amazing said also was not wrong, to be fair. So yeah, I guess just two different sides of a coin that are saying the same thing. You don't need 6/6 units to be champ 1. Yes, that's true, but listen, if you have a 1/6 a team full of 1/6 units and your enemy has the exact same team with 6/6 units, 90% of the time you're losing that fight. Pretty much all gacha games have banners. Talked about that. You can buy cosmetics with gems, and they do give free cosmetics in events. Yeah, but the amount of time and effort and work and stuff that goes into it, like I said, metas shift quickly. How quickly can you build your team? Okay, how quickly can you keep up? Obviously, if you're smart, you can do it, but a lot of new players are going to struggle with that. And even dolphins and stuff are going to struggle with that. You can win going second. You can, but if you go first, 80% of the time you're winning. Bladesifer, I've played both games, and although you point out good things, E7 I have to give 7 cents credit where it's due. I do hate certain aspects of it, even though I still play it. But one, PvP, you don't gotta go first. 6/6, already talked about that. I've played a few games of meta teams for 6/6, and they do help, but I can be outsmarted. Okay. like I said, skill is not the biggest deciding factor in the game. Sure, skill can help, but honestly, it's a card game. RNG is supreme in this game. Whereas in Epic 7, it's not. You don't have the card system, so it's not RNG, and it's not a CC difference either. CC doesn't really matter going into a match. You go first based off your speed stat, because they have a speed stat, and that's a really cool concept. I really like that. So if you build your team with like speed gear, you're going to go first because you have the speed, but you're going to be losing out on some stats that maybe, you know, your enemy has attack gear or defense gear. You know, speed was a really good idea, I think, and it just makes it a little bit more easier to manage if you're not a whale. Just huge dodge food unknown team. I've beaten plenty of unknown teams with Rimuru with that have dodge food. You see more pros. Yeah, that was another thing. People getting upset about that. You don't need 6/6. Already talked about that. Yeah, you don't need 6/6 units, but it definitely helps. It makes a huge difference. Trust me, guys. I have a ton of 6/6 units, and I've used units that are not 6/6. As someone who started out Grand Cross recently, it's very beginner friendly. Okay, listen, yes, it is beginner friendly at first. When you first start playing, and this is any gacha, you're going to be swimming in resources, swimming in gems, because the whole point of a gacha is to suck you in. So when you first start playing the game, they're throwing everything out at you, letting you summon, letting you do all this stuff, and it seems great at first, okay? But over time, those resources start to diminish and your access to them. And at some point, you're going to get to a point when you hit the late game, you're going to be sitting here with a bunch of super heavily outdated units that were really good when you first started playing, but now they're super heavily outdated because Netmarble power creeps like crazy. They're basically useless. You're not going to really be using them. You're going to be struggling pulling on banners, struggling to keep up with the meta. You're going to have to invest so many resources, you know, going into different units and all this kind of stuff. You know, banners drop every 2 weeks. So, yeah, it's beginner friendly. It's free to play friendly at first. Once you hit the late game, the game flips, and it's a whale fest. I mean, granted, it's better than most gachas out there. I've said it plenty of times. I love Grand Cross. It's my favorite gacha. It will continue to be for God knows how long. It's a great game, and the animations are amazing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like, don't think I'm just sitting here hating on Grand Cross to hate on it. I'm just saying its downsides, because I'm sure if you're watching this video, you surely know, like, every single Grand Cross YouTuber has vented their frustrations about the game. And I mean, I'm sure other gachas, you know, deal with the same issues. But honestly, like, a lot of the issues that have come up with Grand Cross, it's just because the developers lack any sense of what this game needs. Like, they have no idea how their game works, to be honest. They really don't. If you've watched any of their live streams when they're showcasing the new unit, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to play their game. They just make something, throw it out there, and hope it works. Epic 7 seems like they know what they're doing for the most part. And of course, every gacha needs to have some way to make money, or the game won't survive. So, you know, they're going to throw things in there that are going to help whales and stuff, yes. But if you're free to play and you're complaining about that, remember, you're playing it for free. And if it wasn't for the whales, you wouldn't be playing the game. So do keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I think I've discussed quite a bit. There was another thing. I got into a huge argument with somebody over talking about animations. I guess I'll talk about that for just a second. I don't have the tweet pulled up, but they were trying to tell me that Dokkan animations, like, were way better than Epic 7 and Grand Cross. First off, Grand Cross is a 3D modeled game, whereas Dokkan is 2D art. So you can't really compare that. So, I mean, Grand Cross still way better animations in my opinion. Like, have you seen any of the ultimates on these characters? Oh my god, like, that's one thing that Marvel's really good at, is making gorgeous animations. Epic 7 animations are 2D, so you can compare that one to Dokkan. And Epic 7 animations are absolutely gorgeous. Like, they're so clean. And, like, bruh, it's just, I don't know. I don't know why people say Dokkan animations are so great. Like, they're not bad. Like, they look good, don't get me wrong. But compared to Epic 7, they just look like they put manga panels on the screen and made them move gave them animation. They're not like true animation in my opinion. It just looks like moving manga panels. That's really what it looks like to me. Like a visual novel kind of. It's not true animations. Epic 7 has what looks like true animations, like character movements and like character interactions and just clean movement. It looks great. It looks gorgeous. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, we have a podcast technically today, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. EST. So please check that out. Link always in the description below. And y'all have a wonderful day.